Hello, my name is Sarah Morton, and I am a very proud member of the Equinox instructor team. I am also a dedicated member to the Cycle for Survival community. I've been involved with Cycle for Survival for over a decade, first in New York City and now here in Los Angeles. And so I really want to thank you for your dedication to this life-changing cause. A little information about Cycle for Survival is that every single dollar goes directly to Memorial Sloan Kettering, directly to research, and directly to life-changing trials. Rare cancers are just very underfunded, so this community is really what's making a difference. It's the scientists, the doctors, the nurses, the caregivers, the survivors, and the supporters, people like you who are making real change around the world and giving people hope. So thank you. I'm honored to be here, and I'm really excited to practice with you today. So a little bit about today's practice. It is not an advanced practice. It's really for anyone to be able to participate in. Even if you've never done yoga, I think that you'll enjoy this. So I'm happy that you're trusting me. We're going to get started. And again, I'm honored to be here with you. So you're going to start seated, and any comfortable seat. If you're a little happier with one foot kind of in front of the other, if you're happy with your feet folded, we'll head there. But let's take your hands just kind of face down here. A little bit more grounding to start. And then I always like you to start up here in your face. See if you can relax your eyelids. See if you can relax your cheeks and your mouth. See if you can let your shoulders start to drop a little bit further away from your ears. Sometimes just by kind of centering yourself on your sit bones, you'll feel that happen. And then let's go ahead and place one hand on your low belly, one hand on your heart, and don't even really look to change anything right away. Maybe just start to notice and watch the way that you're breathing. So naturally and normally throughout the day, we tend to breathe a little higher up here in your heart hand, right? Shallow breathing in your chest. I want you to see if you can start to feel your breath down here in your belly hand. And with this extra space in your diaphragm, kind of visualize that your inhale's reaching forward into your hand, but also backwards into your kidneys and sideways between your ribs. And you're going to make this nice big circle shape. So by changing the shape of your breath and watching that breath, that's just going to kind of bring you into the moment, right? Keep your mind from moving forwards or backwards and really kind of center yourself in stillness. And so especially for today, take a moment to either set your intention or maybe decide to send your energy to someone or something outside of yourself that might need it more. I'll give you a few moments. So let's decide to keep your breath that full and round. And then go ahead, just bring your hands to your knees. You can open your eyes here if you'd like. We're going to start with a little cat-cow action here, seated first. So it's a little smaller than when you're on your hands and knees. Go ahead, draw your hands towards your hip crease. Find a little arch here at the top with the inhale. Exhale, you're going to pull back and round, chin to chest. Inhale again, lift up and open. Exhale, round it out, chin to chest. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Let's actually stay rounded here. So keep your belly nice and hollow. Interlace your fingers, press your palms out in front of you. Inhale your way up to a straight spine. So as the arms come up with you, you're going to notice your ribs want to pop. Draw them back in. Lift up through the sides of your body. And it's very tempting to let your knees lift here. See if you can relax your hips so that your knees are still kind of pouring forward. We're going to take a twist to your right. So stay nice and tall through the waist. Take a twist over to your right. Maybe find a little more space to inhale up into. And then keep twisting right. Release your left hand to the knee, right hand behind you. So use your hands now to go a little deeper this direction. Now that you've arrived, lift your heart a little higher so that the spine stays straight. Let's keep your body in the twist. Bring your head back over this left shoulder. Maybe you can relax it a little more. And then tip your ear towards that left shoulder. Keep pressing through the sit bones. Let's take the arm overhead. And then we'll go a little deeper by taking your arm out towards the side and really reaching past your fingers. With the exhale, round forward. And you're just going to crawl out as far as you can. Might be a little, might be a lot. Take it to wherever feels good. And then breathe into your back body, right? Feel your ribs separating. Feel your sacrum getting a little longer, a little softer. Let your head go. On an inhale, you're going to walk your way back up to sit. And then we'll just change the leg that's in front. So go ahead, change the crossing of your feet. Again, you could keep this a little more loose if that feels better. Let's start kind of the same way and then we'll switch it up. So from here, take that arch up through the ceiling. Exhale, round back and in. Inhale, lift and open. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. Let's stay in the arch this time. So with your chest this high, try to spin your arms back up to the roof. Interlace your fingers, press your palms towards the ceiling. This time you're going to have to wrap the ribs backwards. So pull your front ribs in. Feel the back ribs climb a little higher, and then we'll twist to the left. So keep your knees nice and soft. Twist to your left. Inhale, get a little taller. Exhale, twist further left. One hand's going to release to the knee, the other behind you. So as you take the twist with your head and neck here, see again if you can relax the knees, and then lifting your heart a little higher is going to keep the top of your spine in line with everything else. Relax the right shoulder, and then take your head back over that shoulder. Give it a little tip towards it and stretch out your neck. Stay holding on to your knee for a moment and give yourself a huge side stretch up and over. Let's release the hands so you can go a little further out. Exhale, circle forward, and then release. And again, it might be a little higher, might be real low, doesn't matter. See if you can breathe right into the creases of your hips here so that that crease slides towards your back body and you feel your lower back maybe able to lengthen a little bit more out of that. And then nice and easy, pull yourself all the way back up. And then just sit tall for a second, right? Feel the space you've already added to your body. And then we're coming on to hands and knees. So go ahead, walk your way back a little bit further so that your hands are still underneath you and on your mat. We're going to take a couple rounds of cat-cow. So from where you are, if you want an extra little wrist stretch, maybe you take your hands out to the sides. Maybe you point them all the way back towards your knees, right? If your wrists are super open, but perfectly fine staying right ahead. On the inhale, let's lift up, reach your heart. On the exhale, round back in, chin to chest. So quite a bit bigger, right, than what we took earlier in your seat. Lifting up. Exhale, rounding back in, chin to chest. Two more like that. Nice and big. Feel that with each round, maybe you're able to get a little more opening. And then notice what's going on in your hands, right? Can you press very evenly through all 10 fingers, especially your thumbs and your index fingers? Release to neutral here. And then I'm going to have you actually bring your feet together. Let's keep the arms nice and long. Take your left leg back, right arm forward, and then push so much into this left hand that you feel your ribs come up a little higher into your body so that you create these two long lines, right? Out your toes and out your fingers. Hold for another 4. Belly's lifting 3. Toes are stretching 2. On 1, release the hands. See if you can pull your knee all the way up into your nose. Touch. And release. Other side. Take the leg long. Press into your hands. Literally feel the ribs lift up so you have that long line out through your heel. And then add the arm. Feel that your palm's pressing just a little bit more so that the eye of your elbow maybe shines straight ahead and the shoulder can rotate backwards. Release your hand. Draw this knee all the way up into your nose this side and then release. Sit back with your legs and knees together like this and then lift your ribs up. Literally try and move them right over your thigh. As you stretch your arm out, cover your right hand with your left, pull back through your left hip. Take it back through center, float your ribs up and over your other leg, and then cover your left hand with your right, and pull back through this side. When you're ready, stretch your arms straight out in front of you. Shift forward. Come back to those very long arms. Eyes of the elbows shine forward. Tuck your toes. Now lift your belly. I'm going to have you separate your knees a little bit more here so they're about hips distance. And then lift your knees just barely off the ground. Let's shift it back with your knees super bent so this doesn't feel too heavy in your hands and wrists. And then as you look back at your feet here, I literally want you to come up as high on your toes as you can. Give your arches a stretch, right? Give your toes a big stretch. And then press down into your left heel. You can keep the right knee bent for a moment. Just take all the stretch in that side. Press down into the opposite heel, just getting as much length as you can. Don't worry about the arms bending or your shoulders. And then press back into our first down dog. So I've been doing this a long time. My heels don't touch the ground. They probably never will. Don't worry about that, right? It's more about extension in the spine. You could take down dog with bent knees if it feels better, right? As long as the tailbone's reaching long. Inhale nice and high on your tiptoes. Take it forward out into your plank pose. Find that strength, right? Lift up through the arms to where the shoulder blades feel like they're separating a little more on your back. Take a shift forward into your tippy toes. Let your knees go. Let's untuck the toes. And staying at this angle, I want you to slowly lower down for 4. Elbows are brushing your ribs on 3. 2, you're still suspended. And then release onto your belly. Inhale into the tiniest baby cobra. And for this first one, keep pressing into the tops of your feet. Let's lift your hands up. Reach back. The feet are going to stay on the floor. I want you to pretend there's a block between your hands, and you're going to press the block as small as you can, lifting your chest. Breathe. Exhale, release your head to the right as everything melts down to the floor. And really rest here. I actually like to let my toes turn in a little bit so that they're pigeon-toed. You can give your hips a little waggle, kind of get wide through your sacrum, and maybe feel your belly breathing through the floor, right through the wood here. Next one, I'm going to have you lift your head back up. This time, reach the arms back, but you're interlacing the fingers. So pull the arms long, lift your feet up off the ground. Find a little more height here because I'm sure you can. And then with this extra height, maybe even let your head hang off your neck. Give your neck a little stretch here since your forehead's still going to be off the floor. Keep breathing the arms long. Let's take it to the other side. So let your head go. Let your cheek rest. Breathe into the roundness of your upper back. Again, maybe giving your hips a little waggle side. And just releasing and relaxing into the floor. Bring it back to center. Lift your chest now that you've got this new space. Let's actually tent your fingers on the wood. Wrap your shoulders back. Take a little more lift here. Exhale, drop your right shoulder, peek underneath left arm. Inhale, peel yourself back up nice and high. Exhale, switch sides. And then we'll just do that 2 more times. So inhaling the heart high. Exhale, drop, release. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, drop, release. Bring your forehead back to the floor. Take your hands right next to you. Inhale, move your way back to where your sit bones can tap your heels for a moment. And then shift right back into your hands. Separate your feet, tuck your toes, move back to your downward facing dog. And then wrap the shoulders away from each other here so you've got all this space between your shoulder head and your face. And then I'm going to have you take a nice, easy walk up to where your hands are. Right? Get there any way you can. And once you arrive at the top here, turn your toes in a little bit. Grab hold of opposite elbows and just hang heavy. Shake out a little bit. Stay forward and in the fronts of your feet. Maybe change the crossing of your arms. After a couple breaths, just to feel even, balanced. Let your elbows go. Bend your knees. And then slowly tuck your tail in. Roll yourself all the way back up to standing. And then once you get to the top, give yourself a few actual shoulder rolls one direction, back the other direction, right? Inhale that space. And then stand tall at the top of your mat. Something I like to do just kind of for balance, try lifting up onto your tiptoes, right? Anytime you're forced to balance, your core kind of kicks in for you. So feel that happen, and then just decide to keep that as you lower your heels back down, yeah? Even though we don't need it quite as much. Inhale, lift up long. Exhale, tip forward out over your toes. You can absolutely bend your knees here. Inhale, take your heart forward. Exhale, we're going to try and plant your hands, take it back to your plank. Remember, you can absolutely drop the knees here, or you're going to keep it long. Bend the elbows. Inhale, float forward, up and through. Exhale, downward facing dog. Press back and through your heels. Breathe. Go ahead, bring your feet together here, and then lift the right leg up in the air. Open your hip and let your knee bend, and then maybe circle your foot a couple times here, just opening the ankle, back the other direction, and then straighten the leg, square off toes, face the floor, pull your right knee forward all the way up to your nose. If it doesn't quite get there, use your hand, help it forward. You're going to drop the back knee. Get nice and long through the foot behind you. Inhale, lift the arms. As you press into the right heel, maybe cactus this open a little bit. And then exhale, come all the way back down. Tuck the toes. Take your arms out to the sides of you. And then bend your back knee as you come all the way up to your high lunge. Interlace fingers like we did a little earlier. Pause. Now, if it feels like you could take a little bit of length in the back leg, try it without losing, right, the line of your tailbone. So from here, maybe there's a little lift in your heart. Keep breathing and relax the toes on this front foot. With the exhale, go ahead, release the hands back down to the ground. Step to plank. Chaturanga, bend the elbows. Inhale, float your way right back up. Exhale, back and out through your heels. Find your breath. This time your left leg's going up in the air. Tip open, let your knee bend. Press a little more into the heel that's still on the ground, and then give your foot a few circles one direction. Back the other direction. And then kick the leg long in the air. Go ahead, draw your knee forward into your nose and plant your foot next to your left thumb. Again, give it a little help if it needs space. Release the knee, untuck your toes, and catch your prayer above you. Open it up. Exhale, release, come back down. You're going to tuck the toes. as the arms come out to the side, can you actually bring the left hip in a little closer to the right? Find evenness through both sides of your waist. Inhale, bend the back knee to lift. Interlace fingers, press it up through the ceiling, and then slowly start to straighten the leg behind you. Keep low in the front knee, lift through your heart, maybe a little back bend here at the top. Exhale, releasing your hands back down to the floor. Take this back to plank. Little shift forward onto your tiptoes. Bend the elbows. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale back to your down dog. Take a breath and reach the heels a little further through the floor. And then we're going to take a little stretch. So walk your hands back to where your feet are. If you can grab your big toes, you're going to hold on. Otherwise, any part of your leg, right? This is just a stretch. So with the inhale, reach your heart forward. With the exhale, let the elbows soften and just hang forward, right? Wherever your hands are on the legs, just see if you can have the weight a little more towards the fronts of your feet and less in your heels. And then breathe belly, back, and waist. Backs of the knees yawning open. Maybe your calves feeling a little longer. When you're ready to, let's lift the head up about halfway. You're going to plant your hands right underneath your knees on your shins. And then press into your shins to find a little more height. Bend your knees. Slide the arms out to the sides. Bring them all the way up and above you. And then as you arrive, let's peel back the fingers on your right hand. Grab the wrist with your left hand and pull it all the way over to the left, allowing your right knee to bend a little. Back through center, simply switching sides, right? Grab the opposite wrist, left knee bends, and side stretch it up and off your waist. And then as you come up, let's actually try facing the palms out to the sides of you. Draw the ribs back in. It's not going to happen, but pretend like as you drop your arms back, your pinkies could touch. Feel that in your triceps and in your back, and then just release, roll it out. All right, let's come to the top. We're going to take a little standing series, very small, things you've already done here at the top. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, release forward. Inhale, take your flat back again. Plant your hands. You could step to down dog, or you could take a vinyasa with me, bending the elbows. Inhale, floating up and through. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up in the air. This time, you're going to plant your foot forward. High lunge, arms lift. Now open to warrior two. You're going to split the arms. Your front heel is going to point towards the arch behind you, and I challenge yourself to really go all the way here in your front knee, right? Knee over ankle if you can. Let's give ourselves a little neck stretch. The right fingers stay reaching forward. You're going to drop your left hand down the leg and then literally kind of tip your ear over this direction and pull the right side of your neck open. And then add the palm, flip it, take it all the way back, reverse warrior, opening your ribs. Let's stay here, but just straighten the front leg. Reach slightly further since you can, and then pull yourself up, triangle. So reach forward. With the exhale, you're gonna hold on to your shin or somewhere on your leg and try to open up into this top hand. So instead of lifting the left ribs, I want you to actually drop your left ribs so that the right side of your body feels just as long, just as open, and you've made 2 long lines here. Breathe, and then press into the ball of your right big toe here to slowly come back up. turn your toes in, grab your hips. Now you're gonna have to organize your feet a little more here. Turn your toes in, but make sure they're on the same line. Pull your chest through the ceiling. On the exhale, let's take your hands down right in front of you. So if they don't reach the floor, you could hold on to your elbows. If they reach the floor, you could stay here. You could even reach them through your legs and flip your palms if you want, right? Either way, try to be fairly forward in your feet so that, again, right, you're using gravity. You're pulling yourself a little bit longer by tipping towards the edge of your mat here. Drop a little deeper with the exhale. On the inhale, if your hands are on the ground like mine, bring them back underneath your face. Everyone press into the palms. I want you to wiggle your feet in a little bit closer and then turn your toes in and bend your knees. So you give yourself a nice little ankle stretch here with your knees bent. Keep your upper body soft. Roll your way all the way up to standing and take your arms out to the sides of you. Now, your back toes are turned in, so you should be able to open the front foot fairly safely. Let's step to the top, but kind of keep your left heel high. So you're going to come to the top. We're going to try for a tree pose. This could be here. You could literally keep your toes on the ground, right? You could lift them a little. You could lift them a lot. Either way, let's try and keep the left hip even with the right. Press your foot into the standing leg for support. If you're feeling strong and steady, lift your arms. Draw those front ribs back into your body, and then maybe lift your eyes. We're there for 4, for 3, for 2. On the exhale, find your prayer again. Pull it back into your heart, and then simply release this leg forward and back to the floor. Perfect. Belly hand, heart hand, come back to where you started. Feel for your inhale down here in your belly hand and connect to your heart here with your left hand and stand a little taller. And we're ready. Eyes open, arms release. Float back up through the ceiling. Exhale, tip out over your feet. Inhale, reach your heart nice and long. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to a plank. Knees could drop or just bend the elbows. Cobra or up dog. Exhale all the way back. So you know what's coming. Get your breath, keep it steady, shoulders open. Here we are. Left leg lifts. Pull this forward all the way up, even if you need to bring it with you, right? Give it a little help. High lunge right away, you're gonna lift this up. Draw the front ribs back to keep you steady. Open to warrior 2. Go the distance in this front leg, right? Trust your strength. And with your left fingers reaching out, tip your right ear towards the shoulder. Let this back arm release. And then reach your left hand even further forward. Flip your palm. Inhale, reverse warrior down the leg behind you. Open your left ribs. Draw your legs straight. Reach a little further back. And then pull yourself back up. We'll take triangle this side. So it's actually really common to feel that the space is too wide here. If it feels like that, it probably is, right? Just shorten the distance a little. Take it out through the wrist. Exhale, take a spin up into this top hand. Left hand could be on the leg, the floor, or your ankle. But look for this release up top, right? Can you actually relax the right ribs so that the left edge can be longer? And then as you hold this, I want you to imagine there is a magnet between your feet, pulling them together so that the inner thighs fire up. And then from that, pull yourself all the way back up. Turn the toes in, grab your hips, even out your feet, turn your toes in a little bit. Let's interlace your fingers behind you this time. Pull your chest up through the ceiling. Exhale, you're gonna tip forward. And then as the head keeps moving towards the floor, attempt to kind of pull your shoulders up towards the wrists so that even as you're upside down here, your neck is long, right? The shoulders are drawing up and the sides of the neck are open and even. And then go ahead, stay in the fronts of your feet, release your hands under your face. Straighten your arms a little bit, wiggle your feet in a little closer. Let's have your toes turned in, kick your heels out. Bend your knees, breathe into your outer ankles, just enjoy that stretch for a moment. And then with your knees bent, wrap your tailbone underneath you, draw yourself back up to standing. The arms are coming out to the sides of you here. So the back toes are turned in, left toes open. Catch that little kind of tippy toe tree. You could stay here. If you want to lift the foot a little, you lift it a little. And if you want to lift it a lot, bring it all the way up. Press that foot into the leg. Press the leg back into the foot. And then maybe arms lift. Maybe the eyes follow. And you breathe. For 4. For 3. Crawl up through the sides of your waist on 2. On 1, bring that prayer right back to heart center. Steady the gaze. And then release the knee. Release your foot. Perfect. So well done. We're going to bring this down to the floor. Inhale, fly it up one more time. Exhale, tip out and over your toes. Inhale, stretch your heart long. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to your plank. Tippy toes, chaturanga, bend the elbows. Inhale, upward facing dog lift. Last down dog, press back through your heels. Feel your sit bones climbing up through the ceiling and the eyes of your elbows spinning up towards the sky. Child's pose, knees wide, big toes together, and this is a passive child's pose. So whether you want to keep your arms forward out in front of you or bring them back by your feet, just let the arms relax. Be far enough forward on your forehead that the back of your neck feels long and open. And your hairline's kind of sliding towards your forehead as opposed to the other. See if you can feel your belly breathing into your inner thighs. That's how deep your inhale is. And then with the help of your hands, go ahead, just tent the fingers, press yourself slowly back up to sit, and then we're gonna bring the legs out in front of you and stretch out a little bit. So make sure you're on your mat. Let's take your right leg long first. Janu Shirshasana, you're gonna bend the left knee, turn to face your long leg, and then flex your foot. So with the inhale, you're gonna lift the arms, reach for your foot. Maybe it's just you holding your leg. Maybe you actually reach the foot, but on the inhale, feel yourself getting a little bit longer. And on the exhale, feel yourself melt and drop deeper. So can you continue to breathe this way, right? Inhaling length, exhaling, dropping. Lift your eyes to see your toes again. Inhale, bring your arms all the way back up with you. And we're just going to change sides. Super easy, straight through. Plant your hands for a moment. Dandasana, lift up nice and tall. Switch sides, bring the other foot in. Twist long over this leg, lift the arms up. Exhale your way to wherever it is. Might be right here, might be a little further, might be that you're able to find the foot. Square your belly, your chest, and feel your heart Trying to stretch forward towards your ankle, towards your toes. But breathe the back of your neck long and open. On an inhale, gently lift your eyes to see your toes again. Inhale your way all the way back up. Bring your arms width. Take your legs out in front of you. Again, Dandasana. You're just going to press into the floor and lift your heart. Perfectly fine for the elbows to be bent. Great. Let's bring this down to the ground. We are going to take a bridge pose first. So let's point your toes forward. As you come onto the ground, try to inch your sit bones as close as you can to your heels, and then start really just by pressing the hands into the floor. Float your hips up as high as you can. Absolutely fine to stay hands here. Maybe you're even holding on to the edges of your mat. If you can, interlace your fingers. Wrap each of your shoulder heads underneath you, and then line your pinkies up. Line your pinkies up side by side here, and press through the outer wrists and arms to lift your hips even higher. Let's hold for 4. Big breath 3. See if you can make the arms a little straighter on 2. And then exhale, slowly release down on 1. Once your sacrum actually finds the floor, just take a breath, right? Sometimes just lying in neutral can be the counter pose. And then we'll take it a little further. Let your feet go wide. Let your knees knock together so they're supported, but you're turned in like this. Windshield wipe your knees slowly side to side. So you're giving these knees a nice big push through the floor each time you drop. With this next drop to the right, stay here on the right. Lift up your right heel, place it outside the left knee, and give it a pretty decent push here towards the floor. One more breath here. And then slowly come back up. Reset the feet again, so the knees knock together. Knees stay wide, and just switch sides. Once you lift the foot up, flex it, place it outside the knee. And it's a combination. The weight of the foot's pushing the knee towards the floor, but I want you to reach with your hip and with the inner knee as well, so that both are kind of working to open all the way up through your psoas, through your hip flexor. Maybe you feel it up through your ribs. End of your next exhale. Come back to center. You're going to reset your feet, but now bring your knees into your chest. So as you're here, just hold on to your knees. Bring them in as close as you can. We're going to set up resting pigeon here on your back. So the right foot's crossing over your left knee. Reach through, interlace your fingers either below the knee. If you're really bendy, you might take it above your knee. And then flex the toes like crazy through both sides. A little healthier for your legs if the toes are flexed. Breathe. I know that I can feel my right shoulder kind of lifting, so try and relax through your shoulders. Stay soft through the front of your neck. And just kind of feel that right hip opening a little more, again, with the exhales, right? Surrender, let it go. When you're ready to, let your left foot drop to the ground. You're going to let this right leg cross over, and then just for safety, I want you to take your hands out to the side, place palms down, let your legs drop, and then if it feels okay, let the right arm open, and you could even place this left hand on the legs if you want a little extra weight. Otherwise, keep it exactly where it was. Breathe. Right now you're breathing between your floating rib and the hip. Open that space up. And with the exhale, the knees might drop a little closer to the floor. Saturate your inhale here, right? Last couple breaths. Can you really reach your belly towards that top thigh? And with that extra little space in the inhale, do you feel your knees drop just a bit more on the exhale? Again, for safety, just kind of press your palms flat. Let's roll this back up so that you're able to place your feet flat on the floor, and then make sure your hips are even with your shoulders, right? You might need to wiggle around a little bit. Let's change sides. So we're gonna start with resting pigeon. Take the foot up and over, flex the foot, press that knee back, reach through, interlace your fingers, and start to pull this towards you. So the shoulder's gonna try and lift. Let that go. Flex both sets of toes, and then as your knee moves in a little closer, press the left one away. Can you still maintain even space here through both sides of your waist? And just come back to the breath. Breathe forward, sideways, and backward. On an exhale, when you're ready, release the foot down. Again, you're gonna let the arms open, cross the leg over like you're seated in a chair, and then slowly release the knees. Perfectly fine to keep both arms wide open like this. If you like a little extra weight, you can place your hand on the leg, keep the left palm facing up, and almost have the sense that it's not just dropping towards the floor, like this hip's kind of drawing forward out of your ribs still, even here. For as conscious as the breath still is, make sure your face is soft, right? Can you soften through your forehead, your cheeks, and your mouth as we kind of arrive towards the end here? And then there is absolutely no rush, but once you feel ready, once you feel like you're balanced with the other side, pull yourself slowly back to center again. Hands can help you, right, by pushing into the floor. You're gonna reset your feet flat. Again, even out your hips. It's highly likely that your hips are not even with your shoulders right now. So let's find that. Pull your knees towards you. Maybe you just take this. If it feels like you could reach up and take happy baby, grab the outer edges of your feet, peel back your toes. So you're looking to kind of line up the heels with your knees. And then as you peel back the toes, draw the knees down through the floor. Breathe into your hips. Let your chin drop towards your chest a little more. When you're ready to, slowly release the feet. Let's land the feet first. Release each of your legs forward out in front of you. And then release the arms open. Let your palms face up and close your eyes. So before you just kind of check out, I want you to roll your gaze down towards your toes. And we're going to scan the body one last time just to make sure nothing feels tight or dark or sticky. So pull the breath between your toes up through your ankles and your shins. Feel the backs of your legs open and your hips get heavy. Feel your belly soften and your ribs melt. And then without any effort at all, watch your heart and your head open. Shavasana, final rest. let's start just by trying to make your breath a little more conscious and deliberate. Pull it longer through your body, take more of an exhale. Maybe touch the tips of your fingers together. Wiggle your toes a little, let your head rock side to side a bit. And then when you feel ready to, let's stretch the arms all the way back behind you. Take a huge breath in as you stretch and hold it at the top. Exhale out the mouth. Keeping your eyes closed. Go ahead, just roll over onto one side and into fetal position and stay round here for a moment, right? Just breathe into the softness of your shape. And then push yourself all the way back up to sit. You're going to come to crossed legs. Sit up as tall as you can. As you sit tall and well in your space, bring your prayer back to your heart center and just take a moment to really notice the difference in how you feel. And also thank yourself for showing up, for choosing to do the work. And now just really offering gratitude for your health, for your body, the ability to move, and the privilege of practicing yoga together. Namaste. Thank you so much for your participation today. It was an honor to teach you, and if you'd like any more information, please visit cycleforsurvival.org, and we will see you there. Namaste.